Hi everybody, welcome to Scotch Kitchen. Today we're having steak. Yum. So before I actually start, I'll go ahead and do what I normally do every day and welcome everybody else onto the page. So just bear with me 1 second. I hope you've had a good day. And this week's been a great week. So far we're having 2 live videos consecutively. I can't say it. Yeah, I think that's the word. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now, let me just go ahead and let me go ahead and find myself on live and there. That's more. And then what I'm going to do, let me just go ahead and and share this, and then I can be able to continue with the meal. So we are having steak, and we are having our steak with some parsnips. We are having parsnips, you're having carrots as well. So if you just bear with me 1 second, we can go ahead. Okay. Okay, so I'll be okay, dear. I should be able to see guys and say hi and things like that. I'm trying to find the best place to put my my phone, but don't worry, I'll lift it up. Let me wash my hands really quick, and then I go through whatever we have here. I need to open this door because I am not opening my fan. So because I'm not opening my fan, we need that door open so that you can have some fresh air in. Let me wash my hands really quick, and then we go through what I have right in front of me. So we're going to do like a quick run over. We're going to start with our parsnips. So parsnips almost look like carrots. Let me just get your whole parsnips for you to be able to see how a parsnip actually looks like. Should have left it out. So this is how a parsnips looks like. It's almost just like a white carrot, and that is a carrot. So that's the difference. So we are having parsnips. Parsnips are really good. You can have them like instead of potatoes and rice. So that's what we are having instead of that. So what I've done, I've just sliced my parsnips into quarters, as you can see there on a pan. And then what I'm going to do next, I'm going to sprinkle some groundnut oil onto the parsnips and just a little bit of salt. And then I'm just going to put that in the oven at 180 degrees. Oh, sorry, at 200 degrees. No, 180 degrees, sorry. And then we're just going to let that cook so slowly while I prepare the rest of the things. So today, let's start with the parsnips. So when that's in the oven, then we get on with the rest of the stuff, right? So you need about 2 to 3 tablespoons of your cooking oil. Whatever oil you have, you should be able to use that. So I'm going to have a little bit of oil, and I'm going to sprinkle some salt. That's all I'm going to do. Give it a bit of a shake so that it can just mix up properly. And then we're going to just chuck this in the oven so that it can cook so nice and slowly while the other stuff is also cooking. We're going to steam up our carrots. I'm going to show you that in a second. Let me just make sure that this is okay. Okay, I'm going to line them up back again. I'm going to try and see if I can line them up all nicely on this tray, and then it goes in the oven. So my oven is already preheated, so that's what you want as well. So preheat your oven at 180 degrees, and there we go, our parsnips inside the oven. So I'm just gonna check my temperature again, just to be 100% sure. It's at 180 degrees. There it is, spot on. So parsnips are cooking. So the other things we're cooking today is carrots. So Normally, you are used to, when you're cooking your carrots, you're used to cutting them in pieces. So today, we're not cutting our carrots in pieces. We're going to have our carrots whole. So what you need is a pan and your carrots. Just put all your carrots in there. Make sure you peel them. Today, I've peeled my carrots. And you need a little bit of a wash and then just water, and we're going to like sort of steam our carrots. And that's going to be like the vegetable we're going to have with our parsnips steak, and I'm going to explain to you what we are having next after that. So today we are doing one thing at a time. So our parsnips are cooking. So next is our carrots. So I've just added some water here, and I am going to try and stick this at this corner, right at the end. Gonna turn on that hob, and I'm going to cover that. So you just need water and your carrots. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing more, nothing less. So that's it. So after that, I'm going to explain to you what else we have today. So, hi Judy. We have asparagus here. So I'm going to show you how to cook the asparagus. It's really, really nice. We'll have them with a little bit of sesame seed, and we're just going to cook them on our grill. So I have a grill pan here, and that's what I'm going to use to make my steak. And I'm also going to use a grill pan to make my onions. So I've just cut my onions like a spiral with a spiralizer, and that's how they look like. They look really nice. So we're going to have that. And then I have my mushrooms here. So my leftover mushrooms from yesterday. Because remember yesterday we had some mushrooms on our lasagna. So I have my mushrooms and I have my double cream. So I'm going to use a little bit of that onion to actually prepare my mushroom as well. So it's just going to be mushrooms, onion, and a bit of double cream. Yesterday somebody asked about how we use double cream, something else that they can prepare double cream with. So today I'm doing some mushrooms and I'm going to use the double cream. Then with our steak, which is the main thing, I have some cherry tomatoes here. Even though this is broke, I was hoping that they're going to still be whole with the stem, so that we can also put this in our griddle pan and it's going to be really, really nice and yummy. So we have our cherry tomatoes here. So our main meal today is our steak. So I have some steak there. As you can see, it has that lovely fat at the end. You don't need to get rid of that. You need that type of fat because it is really, really good. It's going to help when you're actually preparing your steak, so your steak can still remain nice and juicy. We need that, so we're not getting rid of that at all, right? So that's our steak. So what I'm going to go ahead and start doing now, actually, I am going to season my steak, put it aside, and then I'm just going to go quickly and do my mushrooms. Then after I've done my mushrooms, then we can go back and start preparing our steak. So it's going to be actually enough time for our parsnips to cook and also our carrots to cook, right? So if we can go ahead, I'll just lower the camera a little bit. I think that's okay. That should be okay. It's going to be a bit wobbly, but it's going to be stand still in a second. So for my steak, I have some steak seasoning here. If you don't have steak seasoning, it's not really a biggie. You can use some parsley. You can use some salt. So you just have some table salt there. And then you can use sea salt or any types of salt you use. You can use your paprika. We always have paprika in Scotch kitchen, so that's definitely what I'm going to use to season my steak. So what I make sure your steak is definitely nice and clean, and it is lean definitely. And if your butcher has cut for you the steak in the same like shapes or how can I say sizes, all of them, if they are the same sizes, that's really amazing. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter what sizes they are. So I'm just going to go ahead and start seasoning. So I'll start with my steak spices. I'm going to do one end, rub it in, and then I'm going to do the other end. Then I'm going to take my paprika as well, just a little sprinkle of it. So you need about a teaspoon of spices, of all the spices on both sides. So half a teaspoon one side, half a teaspoon the other side. So half a teaspoon of each basically. And then I am going to use sesame oil. Oh, I can hear myself there. Just give me 1 second. Don't need to hear myself. So I'm using sesame oil today. And what I'm going to do now, I am going to spread my sesame oil on this other side. So you just need like just small drops of the oil. You don't need to oil it. You don't need it to be too oily as well. The main reason why we are putting oil is because we are adding spices there. And if we don't put oil, our steak is going to be really, really dry. Despite it having that lovely juicy fat at the corner, it's going to be really dry if you don't add a little bit of oil onto your steak when you're adding spices. If you're just having the steak without any spices, so you're just having maybe black pepper and salt and black pepper, you don't really need to put any oil. So seasoned it nicely on one side, as you can see. So now we have to do this other side. So I'm just going to turn it on my board. And I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. And I'm just going to follow exactly the same procedure that I've just used on the other end of the steak. So the one side of the steak. Just have to wash my hands because I have to touch the bottles again, the ones that have the spices. I'm just going to sprinkle everything and then I'm just going to give them a bit of a massage. Give them a little bit of love. That's what I normally say. Give them a little bit of love. So sprinkle your parsley as well. So we've sprinkled our chicken spices. Sprinkle your parsley. And we're using our, oh, that's a bit too much. We are using our paprika. And we're using sesame oil today. Sesame oil is really, it seems like sesame oil, sesame oil. It's made of sesame seeds. Okay, so now it's time to do the rubbing in. I'm going to get some of those paprika spices from here because he has gone actually with a lot of them. I'm going to spread it to the rest in a second. Yeah, so just give it a little bit of proper, little bit of the squeeze. And then we're just going to put this on the side for a few minutes for it to just soak in. You can do this maybe half an hour before you actually prepare it. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to take half an hour before I prepare it. So it's up to you. You can do it half an hour before you prepare it or a few minutes just before you actually cook the steak. So I'm going to do it in a few minutes. So I'm going to put my steak here on the side for a second. And then what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to go ahead and start preparing my mushrooms. So I need a pan, just a normal pan, nice clean pan, and I need to turn the hob on. There we go. So you need a teaspoon, of oil, not a tablespoon, because we are going to, we're preparing the mushrooms. Now, when I'm preparing these mushrooms with this recipe I'm going to use, I am not going to cut my mushroom in. I'm not going to use a knife and cut my mushrooms. I'm just going to do this, cut them with my hands. So, because I just want them nice and chunky. That's the whole idea. So there's nothing fancy about getting a knife and cutting. You can just reduce the mushrooms that are really big and make them a little bit small. But now I'm just using my hands. So you can do the same. I love mushrooms, so I always try and make mushrooms. The boys love mushroom. They love mushroom as well, so that is really good. So it's a simple way of preparing mushroom, but it's a very amazing way of preparing mushrooms as well. So with mushrooms, we need mixed spices. I'm going to pick up my mixed spices in a second. Let me just finish crushing my mushrooms into small pieces. Yeah, so they are like really nice and chunky. As you can see, they're really nice and chunky, and that's exactly how I want them. So you have your oil. You want that to heat up. So it's almost just like stir frying at the first instant, and then immediately after that we're going to go ahead and put the mushroom, put a little bit of spices, put the onions first because I have some onions here. So I'm using this onion, so it's just like half or a quarter of an onion with about, I can say that's about 20 grams of mushrooms, and a quarter of an onion, half a teaspoon of groundnut oil, and you want half a teaspoon of mixed spices. So here is my mixed spice, not really far. So that's the mixed spice I'm going to use today. Okay, so let's get on with it. Get your onions. You can hear the lovely shimmering sound, which is good. Gonna get a little bit more. Chuck them in there, like that. And then I need one of my wooden spoons. By the way, it doesn't take really long to actually prepare the mushrooms like that. So after putting your onions straight, you go ahead and add your mushrooms. Then after adding mushrooms, we're going to add our spices. So our mixed spices and a little bit of salt. Mixed spices. So I'm going to add, again, I said a teaspoon. I'm going to show you guys how our teaspoons look, so that we don't confuse the two. Teaspoon and a tablespoon. So that's a teaspoon. As you can see, it's smaller, and that's a tablespoon. The spices, half a teaspoon. And the oil, 1 tablespoon. Yeah? About 20 grams of mushrooms. And a half an onion. Mix that baby together. Add a little bit of salt. And again, another thing, you don't want to overcook your mushrooms. You want your mushrooms to be really nice and crunchy, so we're not going to overcook them. Mix that up together. Then you get your double cream. So I have my double cream here, and I need a cup. So in my cup, I'm going to add a little bit of water. So I need almost like a quarter. So I'm going to put some water here. It doesn't matter, lukewarm water, room temperature water. You just need water. The whole idea of why I'm getting some water is because the double cream is really thick. You can use single cream if you want to, but I want to dilute it a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and add my double cream inside my water. Then give it a bit of a mix. So we have like a whole cup, but if you think about it, the quarter of that cup is just made of water. Chuck that in your bowl. Put them away. Looks really nice. So what we're going to do next, we're going to let this cook on the side. I just need to add a little bit water. Sorry, a little bit salt, not water. A little bit of salt. Saves me just to use a spoon rather than use the cooking. Yeah, that should be okay. So now that is done. And that's how it looks like. So we just want it to actually simmer. I hope you're able to see that. I can't put it in more than this because it might pour, but I'll show you guys when I serve it. So I'm going to turn this and I'm going to reduce the heat really low. Right? That's done. Check. I'm going to move my spices out of here. Put them on this other side of the kitchen. I'm going to put them on that other side of the kitchen because I don't need them. So remember, our carrots are steaming up there. Our parsnips are cooking in the oven. And now we have to do the thing, which is going to be our steak. So I'm going to bring my steak closer and we can start preparing our steak. I'm just reducing that heat because I want to put my mushrooms at the end and I want to put my steak here. I don't want to burn myself. So I'm making sure that wherever I'm putting my griddle pan is going to be safe. So what you need your pan to be really, really hot. So that's why I've turned up the heat for now, so that I can bring down the meat and then I get ready. So I'll need my meat. I'll need some foil pepper because we're going to let the meat, after the meat has cooked, we're going to rest it. So you need some foil pepper to rest it. So all you need to do is do this preparation before you start. So it helps a lot with a lot of movement. And also you definitely know everything you need is right there with you. So, just bear with me 1 second. I'm just trying to make sure I have everything I need with me. Okay, I have to use a small fork because I can't find whatever I'm looking for. Okay, so I need this. I need a plate. Need another one. And this one is going to be for my fork and my... This one is going to be for my steak. When it's done, I'm going to put it here. So, it's nice and easy. Everything I need is right in front of me, so I'm ready to go actually. So I give my hands quick wash again. Hi, Pelly. What are you cooking? Diane, I'm cooking steak. I'm cooking steak with steamed carrots, parsnips, which I've just put in the oven, and then we have some creamy mushrooms, some asparagus, and cherry tomatoes. So today I'm going to do the video to the end because I don't have any activities or I don't have anything, which is great. So that's our steak that we already prepared a few minutes ago. So we seasoned our steak with some steak seasoning, parsley, and paprika. You don't need to use a steak seasoning if you don't have to. You can use parsley, you can use dried coriander, you can use oregano, you can use paprika, and just a little bit of salt, and any type of oil you have, just a little bit of oil. The main reason why you're adding oil there is because you don't want your steak to be really dry. That's why you add just a little bit of oil. And that's what we've done. Okay, my griddle pan is definitely dry. So what I'm going to do is this. You get your kitchen towel. Yeah, cut a little bit of kitchen towel, and you need a drop or two of oil on your griddle pan. Then, with your kitchen towel, you want to spread that oil on the pan, so that the pan is not like too dry. When you put your meat, it sticks. That's the whole idea of that. And as well, it's actually you wiping off some of that oil. You don't want so much oil there. So we're ready. Let's start with the first one. Press that down. I think I'm going to do 2 at a time because these ones are really nice and chunky. Yeah. Make sure you regulate your heat as well when you're doing this, because you want your steak. It depends as well. Remember to ask the people you're preparing the steak how they like their steak. Some people like it rare, which is just 5 minutes on that side. I turn it the other side, 5 minutes. That's it. Some people like it medium rare. So then rare, 5 minutes for cooking. So 2.5 one side, 2.5 minutes the other side. Medium rare, it's about 8 minutes, so it's about 4 minutes one side, 4 minutes the other side. And then there are people like us who like it dead. Well done. So we make sure it is actually well done. It's dead completely. Nothing completely passes through. So that's how I'm going to prepare my steak. We like it well done. That's how I'm going to do it. So again, I've explained to you how you can prepare it with the timings, so it can be much easier for you to actually just follow it up. It's actually easier for you to follow it up. When that is actually cooking, I got what I was looking for. Let me just give it a quick rinse. And remember, we have our mushrooms cooking on the side as well, so don't forget that. Ati? Unaniongelesha? So, make sure that your steak is actually cooking properly by checking it once in a while. This is what I was looking for initially, because it's easier to use to turn the steak. So you just put the steak under and just turn it. So that's what I was looking for. I couldn't find it initially, but eventually I found it. So now, this, for those people who like it rare, it will be that time when you turn it around to the other side. But the people who like it well done like us, we're not turning it around yet. So meanwhile, don't forget your mushrooms. Make sure they're actually cooking well, because you want your double cream to bubble up nicely, and that's what is happening now. It's actually bubbling up. Turn the heat low so that you can actually cook really nice and slowly. Remember, you want your mushroom nice and crunchy. Whoa, I have to open my door a little bit wider. Oh, it looks amazing. I'll bring it closer for you guys to be able to see. Let's get this bigger one. So you guys are able to see our steak. So for the people who like it medium rare, that should be okay. So you need another few more minutes on that other side, and it is ready to go. You needed a few more minutes on the other side. The spices are really hot. So, what I normally try to do when I'm cooking my steak, I try to push it the way I am doing at the moment, just to make sure it's actually cooking properly. Looks really nice and amazing. We're going to turn it around again in a few minutes and just make sure it's actually cooking. When that is cooking, whoop, I will show you guys what's cooking under here. Whoa. We have our parsnips. As you can see, we have parsnips. And what I've just done here, I've just cut the parsnips into quarters, and then added a little bit of groundnut oil and salt, sprinkle of salt, and that's it. And I put it in the oven to cook at 180 degrees. So with the parsnips, we're having parsnips instead of having like potatoes or bread or rice. That's what we are having instead. Okay, so I've turned my steak. So now we've moved from rare. Woo! We've moved from rare. Oh, did you see that fire? Just like in the movies, right? Make sure you put your face away, because you don't want to actually burn yourself, yeah? Even if it's just like in the movies, just be very careful. You don't want to burn yourself. And then you like, oh, actually I saw that at in Scotch Kitchen, so why not try it? Yes, be careful, you don't want to burn your face, especially if you love your face. You don't want to burn it. Okay, so I've turned it around. So now I've moved from my medium rare. Rare, remember, it's 5 minutes, 2.5 done. Medium rare, 4 minutes one side, 4 minutes one side, it's done. But now I've moved from those two stages. I'm actually now on the dead stage. So I'm on the well done stage, because that is how we like our steak. So on the well done, you want it well done. You want it dead. You don't want it burnt. Those are two different things. Where some people always confuse well done and actually burnt. You don't want it burnt. You want it cooked so that it doesn't bleed. Because when you're cooking your steak, sometimes you find that it's like sort of like having like a bit of, it's bleeding. Medium will have a little bit of oozing of the red stuff, which is yummy for some people. The rare, it's proper oozing of the red stuff. With well done, where we're going to, the oozing stuff will be there, but the oozing stuff will not be red. The oozing stuff will be a darker brown color, which that is exactly what we want. And that's exactly what you want. You want it to have that lovely brown oozing color. So as you've realized, I've just turned that again, and I'm going to do that to turn this one as well. It's almost done. If you buy the right steak, you will be able to tell when it is done. Remember, we want it well done. We don't want it burnt. So we are observing it to make sure that it's actually cooking properly. I'm using just a normal fork, and I'm using, I don't know how this is called. I'm not very sure how it's called. But you can look at the shape, and then you can go to Google. Ask Google. I'm sure Google will tell you how it's called. And all I'm doing is I'm trying to press my steak down, especially right in the center, because it's normally very thick in the center, and you want that bit to actually cook properly. I love that sound. I love that sound. Before I turn it the last time, and then I'm going to bring it again closer for you guys to be able to see. Meanwhile, I am going to go ahead mix my mushroom, turn down the heat for my parsnips, add the heat for my mushroom a little bit, because now I want it to bubble. It's definitely cooked, but I want it to bubble so that it can reduce the amount over, because remember, it's creamy mushroom, so we don't want the stew to be really super thick. Really thin. We want it to be really nice and thick. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn our steak the last time, and I'm going to come and show you how it now looks like. Just bear with me. Few more minutes and we are ready to cover it so that it can actually rest before we actually serve it. So this is how our steak looks like now. I hope you're able to see that. Right? You're able to see that. It looks really nice. So you can see it's not burnt really. It's cooking really, really exactly the way I want it to cook. So that's well done. I'm gonna push it, keep on pushing it. 2 more minutes and it's done. So when that is actually almost getting ready, you get your foil paper and you want 4. Because we're having 4 pieces of steak, we want 4 pieces of foil paper. And we're going to rest our meat before we actually eat it. And we're going to rest our lovely beef on this foil paper. So basically what happens in resting the meat, the cooking process is actually going on. So you're not completely stopping to cook it. But this time you're going to cook it slowly under like a steam. And that's why we're using the foil paper. Some people tend to like the steak from here onto the plate and they eat it. That's your wish. But if you can one time try this, you cook your steak and then you rest your steak. It's going to retain the juices and it's also going to be really nice and moist and very soft as well. So that my pieces are ready. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to move them here on my foil paper for the resting part. That's the first one. Move it in the middle there. And that's how it looks. Just look at that. 1 second. We don't want it to fall. We don't want it to fall. That's how it looks. What do you guys think? Let me move the light a bit so that you guys can be able to see it properly. Can you see that? Yeah? It looks yummy. Yes, it does. So cover your meat, your steak, up so make sure you cover it round. So you have something like this. And I'm going to put this here. And I need to remove the other one immediately. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a burnt one. And we don't want burnt steak. Need to be fast because my pan is actually burning now. Remember guys, when you're cooking steak, I had to wash my hands because you don't want food contamination. When you are having cooked meat and uncooked meat, you might be able to have contamination. So you have to be very, very careful with that. Make sure you wash your hands frequently as I'm trying to do. So, as I've finished doing that, I've washed my hands again so that I can touch the uncooked meat. So you don't want to sort of contaminate your meat. That's why you just make sure when you are touching the uncooked and cooked, you make sure you wash your hands right between there. Better to be safe than sorry. Okay. Ooh, I'm having some disco lights here. So here is my carrots. They're almost done. When everything is going to be cooked, my carrots are definitely going to be cooked as well. Are you seeing those? I'm having a bit of disco dance there with the lights. Whoa, my mushrooms. My mushrooms are definitely done. Oh, they look really amazing. Nice and creamy. So what I'm going to do with my mushrooms, I am going to get my serving bowl for the mushrooms. I'll show you guys. So you guys can be able to see our lovely mushrooms. One more minute and then I turn that. Just bear with me 1 second, guys. Let me turn my steak and turn this other one too. Oh, looks amazing. So I brought my serving bowl ready for my mushroom. Yes, I'm going to serve my mushroom now. I have to rinse that off because I think when I moved that seasoning went in there. You don't want seasoning in there, isn't it? You want it to be nice and clean. Okay? Oh, that looks yummy. It looks really, really yummy. Now I've messed it up. Not too bad. The main reason why I put some back there because I want to raise this bowl for you guys to be able to see. That's why I had to put some back there. So just bear with me. And I'm going to raise this up for you guys to be able to see how our lovely creamy mushroom actually looks like. Look at that. Are you able to see that? I can't leave this because my mushroom, my creamy mushroom is going to be on the floor. And I don't want that. So, mushroom done. Check. My parsley done. My steak getting ready. Everything that is left to cook will not take long at all. Everything that is left, which is the asparagus and the cherry tomatoes and the onions, they all don't take long to cook. So let me turn down my heat for my oven basically. Oh, this steak looks amazing. It looks so amazing. Okay. We're waiting for the rest of the steak. So that's my asparagus. That is also going to go in that same griddle pan. My onions going to the same griddle pan. And then I have some cherry tomatoes here. They look really nice and amazing. They're also going to the griddle pan. So I'm just going to put them here. Close, ready to go. I think that should be enough. That should be enough. Ready to go. In the griddle pan as well. So I've turned down the heat for my, how do you call it again? My parsnip. Oh. I'm going to leave this for another minute and it's going to be ready to go. Because this steak is a bit thinner than the other one. Oh, it looks amazing. It looks so amazing, guys. I just have to come closer for you guys to see what I'm actually talking about. As you can see, look at that. It looks so amazing. Right? Woo. Something went in my eye. Guys, I'm sorry today I'm not even reading the messages. That's not good. The steak looks yummy. Yes, that's true, Judy. Dola na kulanjaro tuwapi. Irene, Dola na kulanjaro for sitting room. Dishes are waiting for her. Dishes are waiting for her. I'm making sure I'm using as much as possible so that she can actually have something to do after. Okay. It's time for me to remove the steak. So these ones are like half well done, half medium rare, right in the middle there. Ooh. And again, just cover the steak. And the last one. You're going to see how juicy this steak is going to be when I'm actually serving it. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to serve the steak for you guys to be able to see. So I'm leaving it in the oven. Remember my oven, I've just turned off the oven, so there's a little bit of heat there. So I'm just letting it to rest in that heat because I still have a few more things to go and then we are ready to serve. So with my asparagus, you just need a handful of asparagus. We're not going to put any oil there because we already have our oil from our steak. And I'm just going to place my asparagus on one side. But for my onions, I'm going to put them on the other side of this griddle pan. And I'm going to add a little bit of oil at the end of the griddle pan because that's where my onion is going to go. So you need about a teaspoon of oil. And get your onion and just spread it in the griddle pan there. And then right in the middle of it, we're going to put our lovely tomatoes, the cherry tomatoes. So if you can get if you don't have a griddle pan, you see the pan that you use to fry your eggs. That's what you need to use. Again, all these are just vegetarian meals. So that you don't mind cooking them together. It's just tomatoes, onion, and asparagus. They don't mind to cook together. So just chuck them in there together. Give your asparagus a bit of a turn. Move your face away. Don't put your face so close to the hob like me. That's not good. Whoops, sorry guys. When that is getting ready, it's time for me to clear this area and actually start putting our meals here. It's gonna take just a second, guys. Just a second. Right? Take into your onions. Give them a little bit of a turn. Push those tomatoes down and definitely turn your asparagus. Meanwhile, let's serve our carrots. Let's serve our carrots. They're definitely done. You're right. Yeah, dinner is going to be ready in a second. Yeah. So basically, you just steam up the carrots. That's all we've done with the carrots. Nothing fancy at all. Just a little bit of, actually I didn't sprinkle any salt in there. It's just the carrots, that's it. And that's how they look like. We just steamed up whole carrots and everybody can have a piece of carrot. They can have a little bit of a creamy mushroom. Then I'm going to do one serving there so you guys can be able to see. in your asparagus. They don't take long to cook actually. 2 more minutes and my onions are going to be done. The tomatoes as well won't take long at all. Okay, let me go ahead and remove my parsnips because they're definitely done. And I will go ahead and serve my parsnips here. They look so yummy. Looks really nice and yummy. As I'm serving my parsnips, I'm going to go ahead and also just do one serving, guys, for you guys to see how you can serve this kind of meal. So nice and easy to actually do it. Parsnips, as you can see that, our grilled parsnip, they look really nice and amazing. Nice and simple, and we're going to make it even more nice and amazing with our little bit a sprinkle of parsley. And look at that. You can't fault that, can you? Okay. So I'm gonna remove my onions because my onions are ready. Put my onions in one corner of this lovely dish. The onions are looking lovely because they're charred. And then I'm going to get my asparagus. Going to go ahead and serve my asparagus as well. Need to be nice and patient so I can do it properly. So I'm doing this. I'm doing the plate. Basically, I'm doing a plate at the same time. I'm also like doing a whole serving that you can take on the table. Like if you have people waiting to eat, like I have people waiting to eat. So I'm doing the serving at the same time. So I'm showing you guys how you can do an individual serving, and at the same time you can do the serving for everybody. Look at that. Did you see that? And for that, cherry tomato. Turn off that, we don't need that anymore. And our tomatoes are done. Yeah, I know you're wondering, why am I not removing the stalk? You don't really need the stalk. You can remove it if you wish to. You're not going to eat it, by the way. Just in case you're curious. You're not going to eat it, but it just adds that lovely. Let me show you guys how our tomato. That's how your tomato is supposed to look. Only on one side. And then the other side is lovely and red. That's the whole idea. So the tomato is, when you actually cut this tomato, when you're actually eating your food, it's going to burst onto your meat or your steak, and the taste is amazing. Really, really amazing. So our steak is done. So basically, I think we are actually done. Turn that down. Show you our vegetables, and as you can see there, You can see our onions, you can see our asparagus, and you can see our cherry tomatoes. That's on another plate. Then, oh, I've not served some carrots there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Woo! Be very careful, guys. You don't want to burn yourself. You don't want to burn yourself at all. Oh, come on. I'm just gonna put 2 of those lovely carrots in my plate. This is what we have on our plate so far. It looks nice, isn't it? Next, the master of all the masters coming through. That's for this step. What else have we forgotten? No, we've not forgotten anything. That's for the steak. I'm gonna go one at a time. Woo, it's hot. So, our steak, it's nice and juicy. And that's exactly what we want. We wanted it to be really, really juicy. And it is really juicy. Just look at that. Look at the foil paper and you can actually see how juicy the steak is. So you know, resting it for a few minutes actually really, really helps. And you can see how nice it actually looks. Oh, did you hear me? Really swallowing really hard. Oh. Woo. It's hot, by the way. It's hot because the steam of the steak is what is really making it really hot. Oh, the juices, pour the juices back on the steak. You don't want to get rid of anything. So this is the, so I'm gonna put those 3 there. Look at that juice. Look at the juice that's coming out of the steak. Ah, nice and juicy. So the last one, I'm going to put it here on my plate. Let me just move my asparagus and all this lovely stuff on the side so that I can be able to put my steak there. Okay. Woo! There goes my steak. I have to lift my asparagus so that my asparagus can also, I can definitely show off my asparagus as well. So I'm just gonna move it and put the asparagus on the top. Those lovely juices have to go in there. I'm not letting anything go. And I'm going to clear up the plate a little bit. Yeah? Sorry guys. I have to do this. I can't let it go. You don't have to do this part. It's not really necessary. And then, I know you're wondering, so when am I putting my creamy mushroom? Now, it's not staying. So normally, I tend to use this small, lovely bowl. So I'm going to put my creamy mushroom in here. And the main reason why I am putting it separately is because when you're serving people, you don't know where they want their it's like a stew, isn't it? Their sauce. You don't know where they want their sauce. So I normally tend to serve like a sauce on the side. I tend to serve a sauce on the side and just let somebody decide where they want to actually put their sauce. If you want to spread it all around, it's your own choice. So just bear with me, guys, 1 second. I'm just going to do like how can I say, a finishing, and then I'm going to turn the camera for you guys to be able to see what we just prepared. Meanwhile, this is how our steak actually looks like. And guys, you can see that looks really, really amazing. I hope it actually tastes the way it looks. Right? So the steak is a pride and joy. So it goes right in the middle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to push them all on one side, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to move the plate on the surface as well. And so that we can be able to see everything that we have here. So just bear with me 1 second. Just bear with me 1 second, guys. Sorry, I was looking for my sesame seeds. I found them, and that goes on my carrots, and a little is going to go onto my vegetables. Okay, and last but not least, just before I turn this baby around, we normally have to have our lovely paprika. I use paprika as well for just for the seasoning, to make sure that's like my finishing touch. So I love paprika, and that's what you can use. Chili, you can use parsley. The way I've used parsley here, and I've used sesame oil there. You can use anything you want to just make sure that that food looks really, really amazing. I tend to use my paprika mainly just to sprinkle around my plate to make sure that my food even looks even better than the way I'm actually talking about it. So guys, so what I'm going to do next, I am going to turn the camera around. Now this is the moment of truth, so that you guys can be able to see what I've actually prepared today. So today we are actually having steak on parsnips and carrots, and we are having that with our creamy mushrooms to go with it, cherry tomatoes and asparagus. That's what we are having today, and some charred onions. So I'm just going to turn the camera around for you guys to be able to enjoy the view. Yeah, just bear with me 1 second. Whoops, my finger. Okay, so let's start here. So here we have our charred onions, as you can see that. We have our charred onions here with a sprinkle of parsley, sesame and a paprika. Then we have our asparagus with a sprinkle of parsley, sesame seed and sesame and paprika. And there we have our cherry tomatoes. Just bear with me, guys. My hand's a bit shaky. Let me move the camera for you guys to be able to see as well. There you go. We have our cherry tomatoes there. Asparagus. And we have our charred onions. Then, that is the master of all of them. So we have our steak. Then there we have our creamy mushroom with a sprinkle of paprika. Then we have our parsnip with a sprinkle of paprika and parsley. So this is a baked parsnips. And then here we have our steamed carrot, a sprinkle of paprika and sesame seed. And then last but not least, just bear with me because I'm charging my phone at the same time. This is ridiculous. Okay, sorry. So here we have our serving. So I've just shown you guys how you can do a serving of your meal. And there we have our creamy mushroom. We have our parsnips. We have our steamed carrot. We have our charred asparagus, our steak. You can see our charred onions as well, and the cherry tomatoes. So that's what we are having for dinner today. Okay, so let me put back the camera. We're going to have a bit of shakes. That's okay. It's going to go still in a second. That should be fine. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's preparation of our steak. Our steak, charred onions, asparagus, and cherry tomatoes. You've enjoyed the creamy mushroom, the steamed carrot, the baked parsnips, and that's what we're having. Thank you again very much for watching. I hope you are enjoying and you're learning a lot, because I am learning a lot from you guys. And basically, keep on watching Scotch Kitchen. Don't miss out. I'll try and let you know well in advance when we are doing the next cooking. Otherwise, I have to go now because my dinner is getting cold. Thank you very much, and do have a good evening. Bye bye.